If you want to get more out of your garden, it really helps to think about the growing conditions that are actually in your garden. One of the easiest methods is to go out with a piece of paper and a clipboard and just sketch briefly the main features within the site. It also helps, I think, to get a compass to see if it's south facing or north facing. If it's south facing, you might be wanting to grow plants like here in the Lady Bailey garden, cactus and palm trees. If it's north facing, then you might want to grow ferns instead. Also, a great idea as a birthday present could be a soil testing kit, and you can find out the type of soil that you have, acid or alkaline, whether it's a clay soil or a sandy soil. But either way, it's the key to a good garden is through careful observation first.
If you had daffodils this year that failed to flower, it is most probably due to overcrowding. Before cutting back foliage, dig up congested clumps and replant 5 centimetres apart. As a general rule, plant them to a depth that is 3 times the height of the bulb. When the foliage turns yellow, cut it right back to the ground. Never cut it back when it is green.
If you're wanting to add a few more plants to your garden, but aren't sure about the size or plant combinations, it's always a good idea to visit other gardens. You could come to larger estates, like Leeds Castle, or you could get a hold of your National Gardening Scheme booklet and visit local gardens to give you inspiration.
Once the risk of frost has passed, it's a great time to get the exotics out of the greenhouse, like this aeonium. It's been kept in its pot over winter, and now it's time to take it outside. Hardier exotics can be planted out now so that they have more time for their roots to acclimatise before next winter. Or something tender like this pelargonium could be plunged straight into a bed to give you the best amount of flower power for the summer.
During this time of year, when some of your bulbs are starting to go over, it's quite easy to forget come the autumn time when you're replanting whereabouts your plants were and if they did very well. So using a digital camera you can access those images and then draw up a master plan based on those images and where to plant for the following autumn.
So now that your garden is starting to grow with spring vigour, you might discover you have a few gaps in your borders. Now's the time to think about filling these gaps with annuals such as cosmos, marigolds or courgettes. If you already have seedlings, plant them out now, or you can sow directly. Simply prepare your soil and scatter a few seeds. Cover lightly with soil and water. When the seedlings start to grow, you can pick out the weaker ones and then just sit back and enjoy watching your garden become blooming marvellous.
This is a great time of year for fragrance in your garden. Some of the best plants for this time of year are plants like viburnum, wisteria and lilacs. If you are limited on space, a good example of lilac is Syringa palabin, ideal for the smaller garden.
At Leeds Castle, we as gardeners often get asked when to prune flowering shrubs, and the easiest answer is to say once they finish flowering, and that's no exception for the flowering cherries, which is actually crucial that you get the flowering or pruning time right, and we aim for this once they finish flowering, say end of May, June time, and pruning is best done then. If not, if you were to say do it in the winter time, you could risk the tree losing branches or in fact dying from invasive diseases like silverleaf.
What is the famous Chelsea chop? Well, it's a type of pruning this time of year that allows taller, later flowering plants to bush out and produce more flowers. If you cut them back by around a third, about this time of year, you'll get marvellous plants growing sturdy and strong and full of blooms.
And the most important tip of all, of course, is to sit in your garden and relax and take a view.